Hello everyone, Manny here with Cottrell's Pharmacy, and we would like to welcome you to Let's Get Moving Cycling Edition.
We're going to show you the basics that you're going to need to safely ride and really enjoy cycling. On this table, we have the basics of equipment, from safety equipment to just, food, little things that you're going to need for the ride. All right, everybody, so when it comes to the Gears for Good ride, you really need some essentials. There are things that are really difficult to not have to have a successful ride. So we're gonna just show you briefly what I use, not just for the Gears for Good ride, but this equipment is really what I use on a daily basis when I go training or when I go for a ride on my road bike. My road bike is a primary bike that I use on a daily basis. It has the most amount of miles on it. The blue bike here, the trail bike, is the one that I usually use for Gears for Good, or anything that has to do with gravel or a little bit of cross-country mountain biking. And the bike behind me is the mountain bike, and that one I just use specifically for trail riding, downhill, or just really off-road mountain biking. What do I use for Gears for Good? The very first thing I want to talk about is safety. And it's essential that you have all the safety equipment that you need so that if anything happens, you are as protected as possible. And the very first thing I want to talk about is a helmet. Helmets are so essential. They save lives on a daily basis. And it's important for you to know that they're a one-time use. So meaning, like, if you have a crash and your helmet cracks, it means it did its job and it protected your head. So now you need to go get a new one. Sizing is also important on your helmet. You don't want to have a helmet that's too big. So sizing is essential. The next thing we want to talk about are padded shorts, or your clothing that you're going to use. If you're doing more than simply a casual 2 to 3 mile ride with the family enjoying your time, you really want to invest in cycling shorts that are padded or cycling pants. And the padding is really important. There are many different brands. You don't really have to spend a lot of money for good cycling shorts or cycling pants. You can get some pretty affordable cycling pants and shorts online from various retailers. And the next thing is you want a cycling jersey. Here is my Team Cottrell's jersey that I use my second year of Gears for Good, and my first year actually. The idea is that you want something that's light, breathable, and as you sweat it dries. When you're cycling, especially in the really hot day, you want something that can keep you cool so that you can really go for further and really enjoy your ride. So this is a hydro pack that is meant for cyclists. And one of the very awesome things that it has is a way to attach your helmet. There's the clip, and then I've got my helmet attached to it. And it's not gonna go anywhere. It's not gonna fall. It's gonna be on my backpack. I want to cover about this bike is safety. So one of the things that I have is this safety light that I'll just turn on so you can see from the palm of my hand. The idea for that is to make yourself visible, not just on the road, which if you're pedaling on a road bike and you're sharing the road with a car, it's really important that you make yourself visible. So that's either using reflectors or lights that really make you stand out so that vehicles know where you're at. I also use them on the trail so that other people can see you, because having a light source randomly appear is not something that is expected in our trail. So one of the reasons why we use a light is because of that. And I don't just have a front light, I also have a tail light that is bright red, and I'll show you what it looks like. It's either that, like a solid color, or it strobes. Again, the idea is to make you visible, not just from the front, but from the back as well, because people need to know that you're coming, right? And they're very handy, even in here in the woods. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about are pedals. So these are called clipless pedals. And the idea behind clipless pedals is that you use a shoe with a cleat like this one, and you are able to clip into the pedal to allow you to have more control over the power you're putting down as you're pedaling around. So you can either pedal with normal pedals on your bike, or you can use clipped-in style, or clipless style pedals. So it really depends on your preference. we want to talk to you about the things that you're going to need, or the basics that you're going to need to get you out of a bind when you're out riding for longer than a couple miles. You know, you can get a flat tire, you can get, you know, into a crash. So you might need a multi-tool, little things that can get you to get your bike back to working order, to get you back home, is really the important thing. So I'm going to show you the essentials. If you don't use a hydro pack, it's always a great idea to have a cage. I mounted this cage here so you can see what it looks like. And with that, that automatically has me transition into this pump. This is just a normal, affordable bike pump that can be used with both Schrader valve tubes and tires or Presta valve tubes and tires. And it's so easy to get to. You literally have this little tab, it comes off, and then as you can see, this one extends so you can pump. So the idea is to make sure that you can pump your tire or your tube if you get into a bind. So talking about what you need to get you through a ride, and starting with the pump, we want to talk about a saddlebag. So the important thing about saddlebags is to get you ready for the unexpected. So the very basics of things that you want on your saddlebag are the following. So as I open it, I will show you. I have paracord, because you never know really in what situation you might be in. You could also additionally throw into your bag a knife, like a small knife, just in case you have to cut something like this paracord or cut something else. You just have another source of utility. The next thing that I personally carry is a derailleur hanger. And this is really because I've had experiences where my bike has fallen and my derailleur hanger has bent. When you're on the road or on the trail and you're really far from home or for your car, this can make it or break it. So I happen to carry a derailleur hanger, but it's not a common thing that everybody does. Next thing you want to carry are tube patches, especially if you ride tube. If you ride tubeless, there are bigger patches that I showed in a different video. They're in my hydro pack in the back, but if you're riding tube, having patches is great because it can get you out of a bind. The second thing, and potentially one of the most important things, is having a spare tube. Even if you're riding a tubeless tire bike or a bike with tubeless tires, if your tire gets significantly damaged, which won't allow it to hold air, having a tube will save you by being able to inflate the tube so that you can pedal back home. The next thing are tire levers, because without these puppies, you're gonna have a little bit of a hard time to take the tire off. And basically how these work is that you pop them to get the bead of the tire out of their wheel, especially if you wanna, or especially if you're trying to put a tube into the tire, or if you just want to patch it. So this is essential. And here we're winding down to the last two things. I have these little portable light sources. These are little flashlights, carabiners, and then this pops up. The idea is to have a source of light, especially if you're pedaling at night. And then lastly, and most likely, just like the tube, the most important thing to have is a multi-tool. Because without a multi-tool, you can't really work on your bike. So this one has all sorts of different kinds of Allen wrenches, and different screwdrivers, flathead and starhead. And you also have a chain tool just in case your chain breaks and you need to shorten it. Having a chain tool is very important. So a multi-tool that's specifically made for biking is essential. You should never leave your house without this, a tube and a saddlebag, because you don't know what you're gonna really face when you're on the road. So most important things to carry: multi-tool. You want a spare tube, a pump or a CO2 pump, whichever you want to carry, inside a saddlebag adds the minimum to be able to get yourself in and out of a pinch.